It's not a game, it's a rage thing.
Welcome to Phoenix International Raceway and the Indy Pro 2000 Series. My name is Jonathan Burke. Alongside me is Tom Davis and Tyler Maxton for Week 6 of the series, our second oval in the season, and we head under the lights at Phoenix. It's a flat oval here, only 11 degrees of banking in turns 1 and 2, just 8 degrees in 3 and 4, and the ever-challenging dogleg. We can see many a passing moves and many a crazy shenanigans going through that corner. And last time we were here last season, we were in the day, and Tom, now we are in the dark of night. How do you feel that's going to change the race?
In theory, it shouldn't change it a whole lot, but obviously we know that's not the case. Track temperature changes, that's the big one, so inherently the setups, the tire pressures, that all have to be adjusted by the drivers. But then also, it just gives it that extra element of pizzazz, or whatever we want to call it. And some drivers, they'll not even notice the difference. Other drivers, they'll think, oh, it's a night race, I want to do something exciting, and that's when we get the sort of stuff that we love to see.
And the other challenge I think it's going to present is it's going to be a lot cooler temperatures, at least on the track. So grip going to be a bit lower, I think. Only 21 degrees Celsius the track temp, 20 degrees Celsius the ambient temp. So if we were in person, it would be a lovely day in Phoenix, but it is virtual. Just a light breeze, a little bit of humidity. Perfect night to go racing.
Yeah, it's interesting. Every time you hear people say 2021, quite cool. It's cool for a racetrack, obviously. There'll be less optimum grip, but inherently you'd expect the tires to go off a little bit less slowly as well, so we could see people pushing from the off, as opposed to we sometimes see people just being a little bit cautious in the opening stages, not wanting to burn up the tires, and then they go for it. With the cooler track temp, you never know, it might just be a full-out sprint from beginning to end.
Right, so qualifying is up, only 5 minutes of qualifying, and we are halfway through our season. This is our second oval. Iowa was week 3, now we're at Phoenix week 6, and we don't go back to the ovals until week 10 at USA Speedway. We're coming off that 2-week trip in Germany that was, you know, a bit chaotic, but it had its moments. Close finishes all around. And now we head to the grid. Aaron Roofs from the Midwest is P number 1. Frank Wen in P number 2. Servi Sepp in the number 3 in P3. Michael Wilkinson in P4. Conor Melia in P5. And Eric Hunter rounding out the top 6. Thomas Zeiger for TNT Racing in P7. Tim Doyle in P8. Nicholas Sudik in P9. Jason Owens in P number 10. Emma Demmer for TNT in P11. And Chandler Pedlarito in P12. Mark Atkins in P13, Matt Hallibo in P14, Jeffrey Kongsfield in P15, hoping for a better oval race than we saw at Iowa for him. Lubovas Djurkaya in P16, John Ailes in P17, and Oliver Silva in P18. 18 of the 24 slots filled for this race, and it should be an exciting one. The start is going to be chaotic. Double file start to the green flag, and when we hit that dogleg for the first time, I think everyone's going to go scrambling.
Yeah. Yeah, we love a dogleg because we love chaos here in the Indy Pro 2000 series, and that will most certainly provide us with a little bit of chaos. The grid is kind of what you'd expect. A few of the regulars, the people who do the ovals every single time up at the top, and then it filters down. As you mentioned, Koenigsfeld will be hoping to make it further than only a few laps that he managed in our previous oval race, but we know that everybody in this field has the potential to be quick, and as a result the guys at the back will be trying to make progress, and that'll lead to overtaking right from the off. Of course, we'll have the 2 pace laps, so they'll get to follow that wonderful iRacing pace car for a little while, and then hopefully we won't have to see it too much later on.
I think if you remember Iowa was kind of a bit of a well, eventful one, as we can say.
Yeah, I think that's the, the politically correct way of
Actually, it's only 1 pace lap. We're actually going to green. It's coming to green now. Aaron Roofs is leading Frank Wen down to the green flag, and they take it green, green, green. From the night here at Phoenix, the 8 car gets out ahead. Seppa looking to get 3rd position away from Wen. No, he retains 3rd place ahead of Wilkinson. And now they head down to the dogleg. This is the ridiculousness part. They're going to fanning out 3 and 4 wide. And now we head to that very flat 3 and 4. They're still 2x2 from 4th on back, and big crash.
Huge one, huge one. They almost made it all the way around. Couple cars immediately. Was that Zeiger involved in all that? Pace car, of course, coming out as we go full course caution. I was just about to comment on it was Zeiger. Zeiger plummets down, and Tim Doyle looking as if he was involved in that one. They both entered the pit, so I believe they're still running, but yeah, not the start they would have hoped for.
Yeah, it was. I think Zeiger was the one that got loose and collected Tim Doyle because they were side by side for quite some time. They started side by side. Hopefully, we're going to replay here in a second. And as I say that, Kyla Maxon on point. So they're right 1 and 2. Just a little bit of a, ooh, almost a tap right there. Ah, yeah, just drifting up the racetrack. I don't think, I really don't think Zeiger was aware how far up the racetrack he was drifting. And Tim Doyle kind of just a lonely bystander in this one.
Yeah, nothing that Doyle could really do about that. And of course, it's nothing malicious from Zeiger. As you say, cold tires on the first lap. He's just drifting, drifting, drifting. And by the time he's realized it, there's not a whole lot he could do. Coming back towards the race and what we're expecting, though, how many times have we seen Frank Nguyen qualify as high up as 2nd? We know that he's always got good race pace, but we generally see him get a little bit stuck behind people in the midfield. He's qualified on the front row. He's got a genuine chance at this, right?
Well, he has won a couple times this week, and there's a few kind of upper-tier, big-name drivers that have not raced this week, and I think Wen has really capitalized on it. And Aaron Roofs as well was a really big contender last time we were out here at Phoenix, but it was a, you know, there was a moment of falling, I think, at the end. There was a lot of drivers that were hopefuls to win that race and just didn't make it to the end.
Yeah, if we were in the Hunger Games, the cannon would have been going off near enough non-stop as they dropped like flies throughout that one. But so far, only 2 people involved in incidents, and as we say, they might get back out. We know that Tim Doyle is out, I believe Zeiger Tiger should be out, but not quite sure where he is. So, not terminal potentially, but various people down laps, etc. As we're only on the 4th one.
I think Atkins and Kongsfield have picked up some damage from that one as well. They remain on pit road, leaving us with just 14 cars out on track. Doyle was trying to make it around and stay on the lead lap, but I think has gone a lap down.
Yeah, he was giving it a go, but as you say, I don't think he quite made it. A little bit of a Lightning McQueen moment trying to race the pace car out. The lights, of course, not on the pace car, so we might be going again pretty quickly, and we'll see if Roofs can make as good of a start as he did on the first one, because he nailed that the first time round.
Yeah, the difference is this is a single fire start, so now it's going to be all about timing if he can get away from Frank Wen right here. And Roofs is gone. Took off a bit later than I expected. I was expecting out of 4 him to be gone. But now gives Wen a chance to get the draft down the straightaway. Wilkinson in 3rd. The Finnish driver of Seppa in 4th. And Eric Hunter now in the top 5. And they head through the dogleg. They're fanning out, trying to find a good line. And no one able to really make up many positions here. Roofs going a little high. Wen going a bit low. Looks like they have 2 different lines going through 3 and 4.
Yeah, there's about a million different lines around this circuit as a result of the dogleg. Ewan actually coming under a bit of a pressure from Michael Wilkinson in the white machine. He was getting racy. Seppa drops a couple positions as well. He started high up, but he's dropped behind Wilkinson, and now Eric Hunter as well has found a way past the yellow machine.
It's Jason Owens as well that just took a dive down the inside of Connor Melia for that 7th position. They're really trying to kick it off here in the midfield. I think some of these guys know they have a fast car for these conditions and don't want to stay tucked up behind someone for so long. Look at them just fanning out into the dogleg, trying to get as close to that wall as possible. Shortest way around the track is always the fastest way around.
Yeah, 18 sticking a nose inside, but Jason Owens just about holds his line, stays nice and high, leaves space, but not the ability to have space and go quickly. Every time they reach the dogleg, I take a deep inhale because I'm expecting something to not quite work. We've gone for caution somewhere. I'm not quite sure what's happened on this particular occasion. Aitken's dropping down, but he was already at the bottom, so something's happened that we've not managed to spot.
Oliver Silva, I think he was at the tail end of the field and just went around on his own, and yep, that's exactly what happened, and woo! Who was that on the outside?
Was that John Ailes, potentially? It was, yeah, 13 machine. This is going to be scary. It's smoking rear wing, and somehow he's just about avoided that in the white and blue car. I would not want to be in John's position. He might need a new seat and a new pair of pants, I reckon, after that.
I can see him getting loose, but like he's still partially in the throttle. Like Ailes is going for it.
Millimeters.
Yeah, that could have been disaster for the 13, but the 4 back around track may just need a fresh set of boots on that car and get back underway. Zeiger has retired, and Atkins and Kongsfield are back out on track, and same with Tim Doyle. So we have 17 cars running and now 14 on the lead lap. Second caution of the day. We still have 60 laps to go.
Yeah, we sometimes have a little joke, a little chat about how many cautions there's going to be. I think I might be wrong based on my pre-race estimate and the rate at which they're coming. But we don't mind it. It means there's plenty of action happening. People are pushing, and that's, of course, what we love to see. The other effect of the cautions, of course, the field gets bunched up together. They never get a chance to space out, which means that we're always looking for overtakes and action every single time we go racing.
Well, the draft, I think, a little bit stronger at night because you get those cooler temperatures, so the engine's operating at a much better function instead of when it's hot and in the summer. So the draft effective. The other problem is with that dogleg, the draft is not very effective on that back straightaway as it normally would be when they're taking that higher line in the daylight.
Yeah, of course. It's tiny margins as ever, but these guys are on the limit. And as we mentioned in the past, they do have to run some amount of downforce, some amount of aero, else they won't be able to turn into the corners, which of course are so crucial on an oval. So the the draft, hugely, hugely important. That is potentially Koenigsfeld at the back of the field there, trying to dash round to make sure he doesn't have the pace car put another lap on him. So he's made it out. He'll be trying to catch up, and then just about everybody seems to be clear. So we should be going racing pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Koenigsfeld and Atkins got caught up in that first lap crash. We just didn't see where they got involved because they immediately went to pit lane under caution behind the safety car rather than getting the tow back to pit lane like Doyle and Zeiger did. So, and interesting to note that Doyle is 1 lap ahead of Atkins and Koenigsfeld. Doyle is 5 laps down. Atkins and Koenigsfeld are 6. No free pass, however, in this series, so not going to be an easy task for that one machine to get back on the lead lap. In fact, I think he needs jet boosters in order to do that.
Yeah, start flying above the circuit, and then maybe he's got a chance. Safety car lights are out, however, so we'll be racing, and you can take it away, mate.
Lights are out. Roofs has led every lap so far. Franklin has been slightly faster than him, about a 10th before we went underneath caution. You mentioned Wilkinson as well was gaining on the 8 machine, so it looks like we have a 3, maybe 4-way fight for the top spot between those 3 and then Eric Hunter, who's gained 2 spots since the start of this race. So they line up along the outside, trying to prevent anyone from doing any shenanigans, passing along the outside. You can pass along the outside for a position before the line, just on the inside. So good to see where Roofs goes. He went pretty late last time. How early is he going to go this time? Still waiting, waiting, waiting. And now we run Roofs goes, and we're back under green for the 3rd time today after a caution, a single car spin, and we're already side by side behind. I believe that's Medema looking to the inside of Sudik for 8th place. And little squirrely is the TNT machine, and now they fan out by the dogleg. There's one car taking a long way around the dogleg, trying to gain spots, but that's not going to happen. Medema's still side by side. Now with Pellerito, Hollable right behind. That's Connor Melia and Jason Owens right ahead. So a train of 6 or 7 cars right in this midfield area that are going to get racy in a few laps' time.
Yeah, Medema, of course, doing a very good job so far this season, leading the championship on overall points. Of course, drop scores come into it at the end, but Medema's in a fantastic position overall, just at the moment down in 9th position, so maybe struggling with the oval or maybe something unique like the dogleg that this track is offering, but I'm sure we'll see him climb through the order throughout the rest of this one.
You remember, numbers are kind of picked up based on the oval iRating, as this race series, you're allowed to race it if you have the C license in the road class, but the 3 ovals are based on the oval license, at least when they determine the splits and the numbers. Medema being 17th means he's a strong oval driver, probably just not as strong as he wants, but doing well in 9th, and especially avoiding all the calamity at the start.
Yeah, I think I would have been in the wall about 3 or 4 times by now. Going high goes Seppa in the 3 machine, trying to get a little bit of a run to get back past the colourful liveried car of Eric Hunter. Hunter goes low, gets the move done on Wilkinson, actually. Wilkinson in the white car left high and dry. Here comes Owens in the blue machine trying to get involved there. For a moment, 3, potentially 4 abreast. Now the 11 fights back, and Seppa's lurking all the time. Owens throws one up the inside, but there was never going to be space there. He just about backs out of it, and now he's got 2, 3 cars trying to swarm him.
The dogleg, I feel like instead of breaking up the draft, it almost opened up all these passing opportunities, because here comes Seppa back to the inside of Wilkinson. Hunter is now in the podium places, and Jason Owens is looking to knock on the door of a top 5 as he's going to look outside the finished driver. Nothing doing into 1 and 2. We single file out, but then right as we get to here, we'll just pick whichever line you want.
That was getting a little bit tight between Seppa and Wilkinson. Wilkinson saw Seppa coming and just gently drifted closer and closer to the inside wall on the dogleg. I think Seppa saw it coming and never quite had the speed to get the overlap, but it was close, and a movement of intent from Wilkinson, showing that they're going to defend. Owens now pulls to the inside. Is that enough to get the move on Seppa? Forces Seppa a little bit wider than I think he'd like to be. That'll give Owens the run onto the dogleg, potentially the position, but we have to wait so long. It's oval racing. It takes 2, 3 laps to get a move done sometimes, but Owens done it in about 2, 3 corners. He moves up 1, Seppa down 1, and Sudik, amongst all that, has come onto the back of the pack as well.
I think you mentioned there's something not right, I think, about that 3 machine at the moment, at least for racing pace. Is he started in 3rd and has dropped all the way back to 6th, and I'm wondering if it's just struggling in traffic. Like, arrows to getting taken off that front wing, it's not sticking in the corners like he wants it, and that's allowing all these guys by. Hunter has picked up 3 places. He's gone from 6th to 3rd. Wilkinson has stayed put, and Jason Owens has dropped up 2 places.
Yeah, it's a curious one for Seppa because you notice he comes out the corner lower, so maybe something not working at the rear arrow not working, or some part of the floor set up potentially with ride height. It's a really odd one, just implying maybe a lack of confidence when stepping on the gas pedal, and you really don't want that at an oval because you're stepping on it so often.
Especially with how sensitive you need to be on the gas, particularly around 3 and 4. You can easily spin that car out as here comes Owens to the inside of Wilkinson. And it looks like move Jason Owens up into 4th, and now Seppa murders a cone and goes to the inside of Wilkinson. He will try and get back inside the top 5. And that's Nicholas Sudik right behind, has been lurking in that 7th position.
Yeah, Sudik's been coming for a couple laps. He's now pulled to the outside of Seppa, who we think must be running less downforce for sure. So can he hold the speed up high? No, not quite for Sudik, but he's very much in this hunt. And of course, once you're in the traffic, having the extra downforce doesn't really matter because the slipstream takes it away for you. If you're in the traffic and you've not got much downforce to begin with, like Seppa does, you just don't have to turn in. So not only is Seppa struggling for speed, he'll be struggling with tyre wear as this race goes on as well. It's a compounding issue. Nguyen, however, for the race lead on the inside of Roofs, will pull down to the dogleg early. Potentially job done if it wasn't for Aaron's fantastic speed off the higher line. They're going to be side by side into the next one as well.
Move Frank 1 to the lead, and Aaron Roofs now down to 2nd. He's been lurking back there for quite some time. I didn't want to mention it because that mid-pack is still very, very angry. As Owens is now to the inside of Hunter. He wants the podium places. And Jason Owens, the number 9, into P3. Hunter now to P6. Seppa maybe starting to come alive. That cone gets murdered every time we go down that straightaway. Shouldn't be there due to dogleg. And now Wilkinson to the outside. And again, all of this, Nick Sudik hasn't made much of a move back here, the last car in this train. And as a result, he's allowing Medema and Melia to really close up again.
To be honest, everybody else, Hollabow's not far away in 10th position, so everybody is won. Owens is forced up high. That's going to allow Seppa down low, gets a little bit of a slipstream, which will just drag that car up towards the back of Hunter. We think he's running a little bit less downforce, but he's got the inside line, has the slipstream, has the speed in the car potentially as well. The top 2 are still side by side. That's Roofs now back down the inside of Nguyen, almost a carbon copy of what Frank did to him a lap ago, and the lead swaps back the other way again.
Yeah, Roofs now to the lead when along the outside. I've been noticing they've been having 2 different lines, and I think I noticed this from the start as well. They go in, Nguyen goes a bit deeper and then comes out much shallower, whereas Aaron will come in a bit lower and then come out much higher. They have 2 different lines, and it's somehow working for both of them because they're running almost identical lap times and running 1 and 2.
Yeah, almost anti-symmetric. So one of them gains the time on corner entry, the other one gains the time on corner exit. The benefit for us is it means they're always alongside each other, so we'll have plenty of battles remaining. Of course, we're not even at the halfway distance yet. There they go, 3, 4, maybe even 5 wide for a moment there in the midfield. It's going to be Wilkinson to the inside in that little pack. Roofs is hunting Seppa. Sorry, not Roofs, that's Owens hunting Seppa, who is in turn hunting Hunter. So they're going to be 2, 3 wide potentially as they go back into the banking section. You couldn't ask for much more from an Indy race.
And now, good news for that top 5 is that it looks like Wilkinson has become kind of a cork in the bottle for the rest of the field. Because now, Medema, that was a bit risky. Almost tagged Sudik going into 1 and 2. And now to the inside, Melia and Hollabo are still fighting. A Finnish driver up top and an American down low, and Seppa move him back into 3rd place. I'm also wondering, we mentioned 21 degrees track temp. That's around 70 degrees Fahrenheit for a simulated night in Phoenix. Not a warm one. I'm wondering also if the 3 just needed time to get those tires warm, because now he's recovered from 6 and is back in the podium places.
Yeah, potentially playing the long game, like we mentioned. When we come to an oval, all the force is on that right-hand side. So tyre management does become a factor. So if Seppa's set his car up to work in the long game, he'll now have the objective to try and reel in the top two. And there's a chance that he can do that. We know that Severai has the pace. It's just a case of trying to extract that when you've got the rest of the field hounding you every single lap as they all fan out in the dogleg. Once again, Medema looking particularly quick, trying to get back past Sudik, and should have that one done as Sudik goes very high.
I think Wilkinson lost his front wing. I think he had contact with Owens in the corner, because I don't see a front wing on the 11. He's dropping like a rock in the corners. I don't even see it on the track anymore. It just disappeared.
Well, that's not ideal, I think, is the way to put that. The front wing, we've already mentioned how important it is, so if that's gone, you'd expect a pit stop because you cannot hold on to positions. Medema still trying to hold it around the outside of Sudik. Hunter's trying to fight back against Seppa in the front of your picture. Of course, Owens is chilling at the same time. Melia's hiding out just behind Sudik's slipstream as well. Here's the onboard from Wilkinson, however, so they come across the line. He dives to the inside of the 9 of Owens, and you're right, just a clip. A little bit too ambitious on the move. Owens didn't see him coming, and it's rear tire to front wing. Rear tire wins.
Well, I also think that Owens just got loose going into the corner because he was sideways coming into the corner and just unable to hold it in.
Yeah, I've been on the sim a little bit more this week, and I've had a few drifts through Parabolica, so it's easily done.
As now this battle continues to heat up. Sudik to the inside of Medema. Medema trying to find a way to get into the top 5. He's not too far away from it. But Melia, Halibo, and Pellerito are the ones in this fight. Pellerito, you can see back in the distance. He needs a good second to close up, and ooh, I don't know if Melia thought that was debris or what, but he came back up almost into Halibo, and that could have been disastrous.
Yeah, that could have been really bad. They're almost having a bit of a punting competition with the cone, so you can get it furthest down the road for an extra point or something. But at the moment, it's Medema who's got himself up at the front of this group. The only issue is, amongst all that fighting, and of course the somewhat stopper in the bottle that Wilkinson became for a while, now got a reasonable gap to try and close. It's 1.5 seconds, which for road racers might not sound like a whole lot, but in an oval, that's a huge amount to try and claw back.
Especially with the draft now. Back down the inside goes Owens on Hunter. I think they've traded places every other lap. I am 99% confident they've traded places every other lap. And Seppa now back into 4th. He might get Hunter on the inside of the corner. Maybe, we'll see. Medema now back into 6th as now Sudik becomes the one on the outside. It's kind of like a freight train. Like, if you get that bottom line, I feel like in 3 and 4, you will win that battle.
Seppa doesn't have the bottom line, has the high line. Does he care? Maybe not, because he's going to carry a huge amount of speed onto the dogleg, just dragging his way up alongside Eric Hunter. It'll leave him on the outside for the end of the lap, however, trying to hold it, but it's not quite possible. He will have a little bit more speed as they come onto the straight, which might allow him to find the inside at turns 1, though. No, of course it doesn't. Now that I've said that, he doesn't go for it. So Seppa holds station, tucks back in, and amongst all of that, potentially a little bit of a breakaway for Owens. It's only half a second or so, but as we mentioned, that can be just what you need when the cars behind you begin to fight.
I'm wondering if Hunter's struggling now a little bit, if he's hit like some sort of plateau or something in the setup, because Owens was able to gap them, was that a couple tenths last time by, at least
no
1
front
tenth,
wing.
and maybe
No front wing
2 or
on
3
Sudik.
more.
That car is suboptimally aero designed now, so Sudik potentially had an issue similar to what Wilkinson happened. Wilkinson, for reference, they're running in 14th, so clearly it does not work having no front wing, and Sudik's been caught out in a similar scenario. I'm just giving myself tongue twisters for no reasons, but at the moment that means the 18 moves up a position, the 5 of Matt Hollabow moves up a position, and they'll try and reel in Medema again, which when you've got a slipstream, if they could work together, they should be able to get here. Here's the onboard.
I was going to say a pretty similar incident, I think. It's close to the 18.
Oh.
Yeah, just a tap. Like the front wing just did not want to hold on at all.
Yeah, front wings about as fragile as my arms based off how often I fall off a bike and break them. So not great for Sudik, but that's the sort of thing. You do it once, you learn from it, you'll never do it again. He'll be fully aware of that in future ones, so I'm sure it's just a learning experience, and he'll come back stronger, ready for the next one. At the moment, these are the guys that are looking relatively strong, because Hunter and Seppa clawing back Owens once again. Seppa again finds himself on that outside line. You feel like Servai at some point is going to have to be aggressive and dive towards the inside. Now, sure, with only 44 of 70 laps completed, now's not the time, but so no real intent as Seppa to get that advantageous line.
Well, if we think he's running a little bit lower downforce or needs a bit more tire temp, like that outside line is a lot better because you can hold a lot more speed with low downforce. You're not going to be able to hold the inside, and you get those tires that are warmed up. So I think for Seppa, this is all part of the plan. It's just that he needs to get around Hunter because Hunter appears to be holding him up here because Owens had a much better, at least first half of the lap, and I think this time by, it's going to be like a 24.9? While these other two ran like a 25.1, so a couple tenths lost.
Yeah, there's the intent from Seppa. This time around finds the inside. We'll keep it all the way through the dogleg, hugging the pit wall, the infield wall if you like, through the dogleg. That puts Hunter on the outside, but as we say, Hunter's got more downforce. Doesn't matter where Eric is, he'll be able to just plant his foot to the floor and accelerate all the way through the banked section. Then they get onto the straightaway, which isn't unbanked. It's still got a couple degrees on there, and Seppa again finds himself on the outside. This time we'll try and carry the speed down off the banking and into the dogleg, but doesn't quite seem to matter. And as you mentioned, all this time, Owens is just gently gapping the pair of them.
He's building himself a nice bumper. I want a contest of how close everyone has gotten to that inside wall in the dogleg. I think Seppa currently owns the closest. But as this race goes on, and as people become a little more aggressive, I think that's going to change.
Yeah. It is the sort of opportunity where someone will give you 4/5 of a car width, and you can make it a whole car width if you really want to. You just have to really want to. So, well, I'm sure we'll see something like that develop. Here comes Seppa again with the superior speed of the three machine down the straightaway. Finds the inside at the first corner, then they'll dive down once again. Hunter's going to try and go all the way around. Is it enough? Eventually not. This time Seppa has the whole car ahead as they get towards the final corner, and then they'll accelerate out again. Hunter, we've seen him do this time and time again, though. He's able to just carry that little bit more speed, use the slipstream for a moment. Now he's back on the inside, and he's got the position again.
Yeah, it's just kind of a back and forth battle, and unfortunately, the problem also when Hunter goes back to the inside, it takes away Seppa's preferred line. He wants to be really, really low on the racetrack, like ridiculously low. I remember when they had like the DW12s here, I think for the first time, the preferred line was, let's run all the way to the inside of the wall. The entire way around. We're not doing that tonight, but we're getting close.
Yeah, it's getting there. It's getting there. It's the sort of thing where it's maybe not quicker to be all the way by the wall, but if your rival's getting closer, you think, well, maybe I should just follow them for the slipstream, and then they get closer the next time, and then you lead, so you get a little bit closer to try to beat the slipstream. Before you know it, you're right against it. Of course, the battling here, not only is it helping Jason Owens to escape with third position, it's bringing Medema, Melia, and Hollabout in towards this fight. That's the cars that you see in the background of this shot. Medema, your championship leader, at one point was languishing on the outside of the top 10, is now closing in for potentially a fourth position.
And you saw Owens just go by right there, so now to the inside goes Seppa. He retakes fourth, but I think we're just going to have a deja vu moment because here comes Hunter, slipstream, goes back underneath, and we'll take the position back in turn one. And this swapping, like normally it'd help you, like at Indianapolis on a big oval, it'd help you with the draft, but here, because there's no draft in this back straightaway, it's not. It's hurting both of their times significantly.
Yeah, I wonder if Seppa was to plant the throttle and really get close to the wall on the exit of the first corner, he'd be able to then use the lower downforce to carry speed through the dogleg, despite being wider, and potentially utilize that. It's certainly something we've not seen from him yet, so it's a tool that he's still got at his disposal. Whether or not it'll work is a different thing. Of course, he's in the car, I'm not, and that is for good reason, but with the pack closing in on him, he's got to do something soon, because you'd say he's been held up, but just can't do anything about it.
Well, now Hunter wants to play defensive because he immediately went to the inside and said, nope, you are not going around me that way, and I don't think he's going to try something in the dog leg. No, Seppa wisely going around that higher line. he has two lines. He has the one where he wants to overtake Hunter, and then the one where he wants to be defensive on Hunter. So it's a tale of two cities right now, and they're still side by side. And again, you said Medema and Melia have slowly chipped away at their advantage, and now there's lap traffic in the picture too. That's Sudik, who's still without a front wing.
That last time round, Matt Hollabaugh in 8th position, back of this whole pack in the yellow-nosed white car. He set the fastest lap of the race, a 24.875. He's the guy who's got a move, and he's potentially looking for a move. He'll go to the outside as they come up the start-finish straight. That'll give him the outside at the first corner, and the run through the dogleg, if he can keep it there. He's managed to hold his nose. Now he's got his whole car alongside. As we said, he's the guy who's clearly got the pace at the moment, and he's just driven around Connor Melia there as easy as you like. Exactly what Sepp has been trying to do for lap after lap after lap, not able to do it. Hollabaugh does it on the first time of asking, and he's now got his sights set on championship leader and Medema.
I'm wondering if Melia either lifted right there, or if that 18 or that 5 car was just that fast, because it looks like he just slammed the door going inside the dogleg, and now, yep, there's how close Seppa's getting to the wall. I think he might have almost brushed it at that point. He gets ahead of Hunter, but again, Hunter, deeper entry, shallower exit, going to get a good run off, and now Seppa has to defend to the inside.
Seppa defends. Medema, not quite defensive, might open up the opportunity for Matt Hollabaugh. I'm loving this drive from Matt. He's been completely inconspicuous the whole race. We get to under 15 to go, and suddenly he's pushing like there's no tomorrow, because there's less than 15, almost 10 to go. We're in that sort of final stage of the event. Seppa manages to hold it this time, which is what he needs to do. He needs to be at the front so he can utilize his setup as well as he can. But Hunter, again, is going to force a little bit of a defensive move, and that just compromises Seppa all the more. You mentioned he wants to be a little bit higher potentially. He can't do that if someone's threatening to send one down the inside.
And again, Seppa's going to have the same problem. He's going to have Hunter looking back down the inside, and now Medema's trying to fight off Hollabaugh, so that's kind of pushed them a little bit further back in the fight than they wanted. Seppa able to defend this time against Hunter into turn 1. That is something we haven't seen yet, and now he can run his preferred line through the dogleg.
Could be all that needs, like we said, every single time Hunter has fought back immediately. This time he gets a lap where Seppa stays ahead, but now Hunter, doesn't matter. He's going to do exactly what he wanted to have done last lap, gets the run out the final corner, gives his a nose alongside, which then becomes a full overlap as they come towards the dogleg. He'll cut down early. Medema's actually getting pretty close to this slot. Seppa has probably a little bit more actual speed as they come through the dogleg, but he's got to travel further, and the position goes back to Eric Hunter. 4th for Eric Hunter, 5th for Servai Seppa, and everybody else getting involved. Matt Hollabaugh, I believe, will have Medema on the outside, just out of shot. That should be the position done now, though, with a little bit of a help of the back marker. He is Hollabaugh up to 6th position, now looking to close in the 4th and 5th cars that have been fighting for, what's this, 2/3 of the race now?
Yeah, and they have 2 problems, and the 2 problems are John Ailes and Luba Vastrikaya are the 2 lapped cars ahead of him, who right now are split by Jason Owens, and they're going to be back here probably in the last 2 or 3 laps in the middle of this fight that they really don't want to be in, because they've been driving very, very aggressively and angrily. And there again, there's that, I believe that's the 13 machine. A 14, excuse me, that is Kongsfield in that. So there's another lap car, I believe, ahead. There's multiple lap traffic, and Kongsfield wisely getting out of the way.
Yeah, I think I'd be doing exactly that, just not wanting to get involved. The next 2 lapped cars, however, are actually fighting, so I guarantee they're not going to get out of the way in the same manner. Here comes Servai Seppa, nice high and wide, carrying the speed. Hollabaugh, in the meantime, completely dropped Medema onto this pack within a lap and a half or so. Brilliant pace from Matt in the 5 machine, currently running in P6. He'll get incredibly close to the back of Seppa, dives to the inside. Seppa's gone very, very high and wide. Surely that's going to cost him a position. Avoids the cone, does Hollabaugh, then tucks back in behind Hunter. The next of the lap cars is coming up. Yeah, mistake from Seppa. Maybe got caught out with the dirty air off that lap traffic.
Yeah, that was Mark Atkinson, who's 8 laps down now, and almost 3. We're going 3 wide, apparently. As here comes Hollabaugh and Hunter side by side. Lundbov is to the inside. She wisely backs out of it, and Hunter might have the position on Hollabaugh. He does, and is able to get 4th place. Halliburton now in 5th. Here comes Seppa charging up the inside. Are we going to go 3 wide into turn 3? No, the Finnish driver thinks better of it. Halliburton still to the outside of Hunter. Hunter able to clear. Ludbov almost got clobbered from the rear by Anmadema. And Melia going to the inside. They're 3 wide into 1 behind. Hunter trying to beat Halliburton down the dogleg. Hunter has 4th. Seppa looking to the inside. Nothing there. Looks back to the outside. They're 3 wide into turn 3. And we single file out again and we can catch our breath.
Yeah, potentially a mistake from Hollabau. He was drifting his way into that one, sort of backing it into the final corner. That allows Seppa to get the overlap. Hunter's not clear, because regardless of which car it is, there's always a car underneath his rear wing. It then extends to maybe half a tenth between himself and Seppa, but not to worry. Seppa's got the slipstream, he's got the speed, but not as much speed as Hollabau has. Hollabau finds the inside, forces the orange car up wide. That doesn't matter, Seppa's going to plant the throttle anyway. All of that gives Hunter a little bit of respite as we go into the final lap of the race.
Final lap, and this has been the fight actually for 4th place. Frank Nguyen has been the one out front in the number 7 machine. And in fact, he's already through turns 3 and 4. 2 seconds back to Aaron Roofs, and the 7 car, the Canadian, will go to victory lane. Roofs in 2nd, Jason Owens in 3rd, and we still have this very, very intense fight for 4th place. Who's going to get it across the line? It looks like Hunter barely outdrives Service Seppa to the line for 4th. Seppa getting 5th. Hollabo had to settle with 6th. Medema in 7th after getting held up by Lumbov Osterkaya. Kanamelia in 8th. And the rest of the field slowly going across the line. There was a point where I thought all 3 of them in that mid-pack, the 6, the 9, and the 3, were going to pile into each other going into turn 3 just from that dog leg, and yet somehow we made it to the end.
Just 1 point? I thought it was going to happen like every other lap. That was insanely close. But, I mean, congratulations to Frank Nguyen. Brilliant, brilliant race from him.
Fight about midway through the race with Aaron Roofs, I think, proved vital. I think Roofs' car fell off a little bit. 2.2 seconds is what the Canadian was able to gaff the Midwestern driver. So the 7 leads the 8. Jason Owens, one of the community organizers from Indiana, is in P3 on the podium. Eric Hunter and Severi Seppa had a dynamic fight for 4th and 5th, and Hunter will stand ahead of Seppa. Matt Hollabo in 6th, Amadema in 7th, Kanamelia in 8th, Jenna Pillarito a quiet race in 9th, and Oliver Silva, after that lone car spin, able to recover to get a top 10. Looking down the rest of the order, John Ailes, 1 lap down from Texas. Lunba Vasilkaya, the Russian, is in 12th. Nicholas Sudik, we saw lose his front wing, and the same goes for Michael Williamson, 13th and 14th. Mark Atkins got caught up in that first lap crash, same with Jeffrey Kunksfield, but they were able to get repaired and get back out on track. Meanwhile, for Tim Doyle and Thomas Zeiger, was not meant to be. The last 2 cars, 17th and 18th. So that was a very, very dramatic race, especially in the midfield, but I think we're going to get an opportunity to talk to our winner of this race in the number 7 machine. And Tom, you're standing by with Frank.
Yeah, I got race winner, Frank Nguyen. Frank, we've seen that you've had pace for the past 2 seasons, and finally you pick up that win. How does it feel?
Oh man, it's a great weight off my shoulders. You know, two seasons I've been basically racing this car since it got added to the service, and you know it's the best car out there. So I've just been plugging away at it, and this win here at Phoenix is it's a rush.
Yeah. Yeah, well, every time, obviously, we look at the stats before we come on the broadcast. I'm like, oh, Nguyen's won a couple of races this week. Maybe this is the one. And then it's like, oh, not close. So it was brilliant to see you. You did have a fight with Roofs in sort of the beginning of the final third. Is that when Roofs began to fall off, or did you just have more pace and you're just waiting to use it?
Yeah, Roofs, he gave me a good fight. He defended well, made me use the outside line a few times. You know, I was just waiting to finally get past him. The set I had this week, it's it's really good in the clean air, not so much following. So I was just waiting for an opportunity to get past him to see if I could drive away. And credit to him, he kept on my tail for up until the last 15 laps until I started to pull away. So yeah, it was a good racing all around.
Yeah, it was exciting to watch as well, I can tell you that much. The final question is such, you come into this one, you were third in the championship before this evening's race. Is there a late charge coming on from the fan favorite Frank?
We'll see how it goes. I'm up there on the road courses, but I know I'm not the fastest guy out there. But I'm just looking to pick my battles and qualify well and pounce on opportunities as they come.
Brilliant. And you seem to be pretty good at it, to be fair to you. Certainly better than any of us mere mortals could ever hope to do. So congratulations. Hopefully this will be the start of a run of form and you'll put together the challenge that you clearly want to put together. So yeah, congratulations and enjoy your evening. You've certainly earned it.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
No worries.
So that was our winner, the number 7 machine. And again, we mentioned it, like week in and week out, he gets a couple wins, but just not on the broadcasted race, and finally standing on top. He put up a good fight with Griff Roofs, especially in that mid portion of the race, but really was the class of the field. He knew he had needed that clean air.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Like I say, I commented on it when I saw that he qualified second. I was like, we've been waiting to see if he can put together the pace, assuming he doesn't get stuck in traffic. And then I didn't really want to jinx it or use the commentator's curse throughout the rest of the race. I daren't kind of curse it as such, but brilliant. It's hard to name somebody who deserves a broadcasted win more than Frank Newton.
Again, he's here week in and week out. There's some guys that only do the ovals, some guys that only do the road courses. He's done every single one. And now we hit the halfway point of the season, and you're right, the championship is going to change a little bit. We now only have one more oval to go to, USA Speedway, at the end of May, but now we're staying stateside. We have Long Beach, which last season turned out to have a fantastic race for the week 1. Daytona Road, which is going to be interesting. Laguna Seca, always fun to go to in an open wheel car. And we head back to USA. Then Spa, which we remember from last season being fantastic, and Barber. So really, a really good lineup here for these last few races, and it's going to be hard to tell who's going to stand up on top.
Yeah, I certainly don't want to call it. What I do want to call is that Long Beach is going to be incredible. It's such a unique circuit, but unique in the perfect way, whereby it does brilliant stuff that nowhere else can even think of doing, and as a result, next week's race should be absolutely fantastic. And that will carry on throughout the rest of the season. Like you mentioned, Laguna Seca, USA Speedway, Spa, Barber. They're all incredible venues, and we get to take these cars, which are incredible cars, to every single one of them. I can't wait.
All right, but for now, that wraps us up here for this week. And reminder, you can follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, and Instagram to keep up with action week in and week out. There's a 24 Hours of Nürburgring this weekend that will be on RaceSpotTV, so you can follow us for more special events, and obviously follow us week in and week out. Again, next week, we're back until Long Beach, but that wraps us up here at Phoenix. For myself, for Tom Davis, for our producer Tyler Maxton, who also provided some of our onboard cams, Nista Van Bello, and Track Cams 22, we say so long and have a good night.